Welcome to the Kidmin Huddle with Amber Pike, where children's ministry leaders get equipped, encouraged, and empowered to disciple with intentionality, growing God's kingdom one child at a time.
Welcome back to the Kidmin Huddle. No, your audio is not messing up. I just sound extra lovely today, which really goes with the theme of today's episode. Are you in a stressful season of Kidmin, or maybe have you just developed some unhealthy habits? Let me paint you a picture of stressful season. 3 letters, VBS. Right? VBS camp season are incredibly stressful for ministry leaders. There are so many tasks that have to be done. A lot of them are last minute, just, kind of by default if you can't get the space decorated until right before. For years, for me, at my 2 churches ago, VBS was the week following Father's Day. So I would spend church on Sunday, stay and decorate the last part, like the sanctuary and stuff, fly home, and then go cook Father's Day dinner. And I was exhausted. For me, camp is always a stressful season. It might be pretty easy getting to camp, but then my body is saying, no, you shall be sick. So this, let me paint you the picture of this year's camp for me. This was, I believe, year 19 for me. And it was a tough week at camp. There were just some more problems and snafus. I mean, nothing big, nothing that your average church was going to notice, but things that me as the director did notice. And just physically, it was a lot. So I was a little behind on some camp prep stuff because it's just been a hard year for me. And there was one day where I didn't have the slides that I thought I had, and I had to send my son running up to the cabin to go get me my laptop because I just had my tablet with me because my back can only carry so much. I was in a lot of pain from just the physical walking at camp, my hip, my knee, my foot, it all hurts. I go home just exhausted from camp, 6-hour drive home, go home and jump right into, super mommy. I'm unpacking, doing laundry. I'm prepping for Sunday, prepping for Father's Day, and I wake up with vertigo. Sunday morning, get out of bed. I'm like, oh, this doesn't feel good. Maybe it's just because I'm so sleepy. No, I had vertigo, but it was Father's Day. One of my subs I knew was going to be out, so I had to go to teach, and I was doing a congregational prayer in which we were passing out VBS stuff, and I had to cook Father's Day. So I'm having people walk me onto stage to pray, and I'm standing up there hoping I don't throw up or pass out. Get better from vertigo after a couple days, and then I get hit with this cold. My body says, Amber, you've been in a stressful season, and this is how we're reacting. And this happens pretty frequently with me physically. But are you in a stressful season of Kidmin? Or have you developed some unhealthy habits to where every season is stressful and it doesn't need to be? So check and see. I'm going to go through, I've got 4 different areas that are not a stressful season. Like, let's be honest, VBS and camp are going to be stressful. I think December is a stressful season when you're adding in, your family obligations and perhaps work things for you or your spouse if you're bivocational, and holiday traditions and all of that. It's just a stressful month. But the day-to-day of children's ministry, it might be that you've let some unhealthy habits slip in, and your body, your work attitude is now stressed by default. So are you constantly waiting until the last minute? That's an unhealthy habit. So, this is, if we were in class, I would say, raise your hand if you ever waited until Saturday night to prep your lesson, or maybe Sunday morning. I have seen ministry leaders purchase their Easter lesson on Easter morning. My friend, you cannot be that last minute when it comes to your preparations, because stuff could happen. You could wake up really sick. I think germs are intelligent, and they know when you work in church and what day Sunday is. Why does my body predominantly choose a Sunday to get sick? It's almost funny in a sad way. The number of times that I woke up with a stomach bug was on a Sunday. right? When I need to be at church. So if we're waiting until last minute to do our prep, you're not accounting for the things of life, the getting sick, the something breaking, the something that's happening to take up your time. You're also, if you're waiting until last minute to prep for whatever it is, camp, VBS, an event, Sunday, volunteer training, parent resourcing, whatever it is, you're not allowing for life to happen. You're missing out on possibilities. So, okay, it's Friday night and I'm writing my lesson for Sunday. Oh, I don't have XYZ. Awesome. Add to cart. Oh, wait, it can't get here by Sunday. If you're waiting until the last minute to prepare for Sunday lesson, for small group, for events, for camp, for VBS, this is an unhealthy habit. We're going to talk about some solutions in a little bit. So we're going to keep walking through these unhealthy habits that we may have developed. Unhealthy habit number 2 is not delegating. So this is definitely a pot calling the kettle black situation here. I'm not great at delegating. I struggle to release control for a variety of reasons. One is I can't necessarily depend on people. They don't follow through, or it's not the way that I want it to be done. But you can only do so much. And you need to learn to delegate. And by you, I also mean me. When you point a finger, 3 fingers pointing back at you, that whole, for sure. We have to delegate. If you are taking everything on you, it is going to wear you out. I have been a one-woman band a lot of times, and it takes a toll on you physically, mentally, emotionally. Burnout is going to happen if you are not delegating. So who can do things? There are things that only you can do for sure. And there are things that, though they might not be done the way that you want them done, can be done in a great way if someone else does them. When we fail to delegate, we're one, maybe keeping someone else from using their giftedness, from developing their giftedness. But then 2, we're putting more on us. And there's a finite amount of things that we can do in a week's time. We got to delegate. Number 3, unhealthy habit. Are you failing to plan in advance? Now, I don't just mean I'm at least prepping my lesson. I'm starting on Monday or Tuesday to prep my lesson for Sunday. I'm talking advanced planning. What does the next 6 months look like in your ministry? What does the next year look like in your ministry? You don't want to have that last minute scramble before VBS or camp or an event or lesson time. You should know what your next series is. You're going to miss opportunities. You're going to be stressed. You're going to have less time with your personal family, your personal hobbies, if you are not planning in advance. So VBS is a perfect example. Yes, there are things that can only be done, right before VBS. But there are a lot of things that if you're planning in advance and you're using a calendar to plan, can be done in a lot of time. So, mailing out, if you mail out invitation postcards, that shouldn't slip up on you. Oh no, that was already supposed to happen. Calendar. Then you know when the dates are supposed to be done. Take your tasks that can be done in advance and spread them out. We don't want this last minute scramble mentality. We want to plan in advance so we know what's happening. This is great for just our mental health, our physical health, our family life. Yes. But it's also really good to where we can coordinate things. Okay, VBS is coming. I know I want to resource family at VBS. So I want to get XYZ to resource family. Well, if I planned in advance, I could catch that when it was on sale. Or I planned in advance to where I could actually get it on time. Right? Have you all noticed that Amazon shipping is not what it used to be? And I will choose things based on the shipping time because I'm an impatient person. And I'll be like, this basket under my desk is no longer cutting it. It must be reorganized, and it has to be reorganized today. I am that person. I will decide something is no longer good, and I want it done that day. Prime example, I didn't love an area in my basement. I just was getting too much stuff, and I'm like, this needs to be done today. And I text my dad. I'm like, hey, do you still have any poles for those shelves? He'd taken some down, and I wanted it that day. That was not what I had on my list. I ended up spending 5 hours in my basement reorganizing because it needed to happen today. But when you're waiting and you're not planning, that can't always happen. You can't get the volunteers or the supplies or whatever because you didn't plan in advance. So when you're planning in advance, you can promote better and get better attendance. You can encourage your leaders better. You can prepare better. You can do budget better. I think last year I caught a really great sale in October for my Christmas Advent devotions for families. And I ended up getting them like a $30 book. It came out to about $7 each because I planned in advance. I was being a really good steward of my church dollars. We cannot fail to plan in advance. That's a bad habit. And bad habit number 4, are you really disorganized and messy in your space? Maybe this is your storage room. Maybe this is your basement, your kitchen table, your work bag, whatever. This means that you think you have something that you need, and when you go to get it, you don't have it or you can't find it. Or, well, I thought that it was here, but it's not, and now I don't have time to Amazon it. Or you rebuy things because you forget that you had them or you didn't have things clearly labeled. And then honestly, just disorganized and messy spaces aren't good for us mentally. Do you ever feel the need to, I'm a paper person and I have like notes and papers. And sometimes for my brain sanity, I just need to sit down and organize my notes and my thoughts. Our brains, our workspace, our classrooms, our storage. If it's disorganized and messy, that's a bad habit. We're not being as effective. We're not good stewards of our resources. Sometimes we're going to have to pivot. Oh no, I don't have the thing that I needed. I thought it was here. I don't know where it is and I'm running late. You're going to have to switch. That's not good. That's a bad habit. So what are the solutions that could potentially alleviate some of the stress that we are feeling in children's ministry because we've allowed these bad habits to become the norm? Well, one, plan. You need a plan. Whatever this looks like for you. If it's a Google Calendar, awesome. If you are like a task manager app program thing, great. If you are you write your notes and to-do lists on the back of unused coloring sheets and activity pages or parent notes from church, it's me. Awesome. What does this plan look like? How are you planning out your ministry? I've got just a quick 1-page year overview of my ministry. That's my plan outline. Here are my lesson series. Here are my events. Here are my resources. Here are my parent trainings or resources. So I plug it in. And then when it gets closer to, I can go and I can streamline. I can make a more detailed plan and do it. We need to plan and plan in advance to where we're not doing that last minute scramble. Plan your work week. When are you working on certain things? If you know that VBS is always extra stressful, take yourself out to coffee or ice cream for a day. Make a list of all of your VBS tasks. Put a date for next year, maybe, to all of those tasks and who can do them. Plan them, put them on your planner, your calendar, your whatever. This will help. If you know in February, the second week of February, you are sending out the postcards, boom. This week you're doing this, boom. Lesson work is always on Tuesdays and you're prepping everything you need so that if you need to get it, it should still get here by Amazon, boom. Make a plan, stick to the plan. It doesn't have to overwhelm you. It doesn't have to be so rigid that when you need to go talk to a hurting family that, well, I got lesson prep today. Of course not. But this plan, which can be fluid, is going to help you avoid this last minute scramble. Use that calendar. Schedule by that calendar. Keep it with you. Plan. Second, tidy and organize as you go. I joked on social media that this was a first for me, that I actually completely unpacked from camp and put everything away the very next day. And it was sadly true because I normally don't, also because I usually come home from camp sick. But VBS, camp, events, they're a beast. And so sometimes the temptation is to just move it in our storage room. And then we might spend months cleaning it up. But make a commitment. Get volunteers. This is a great delegation area. Clean up, tidy, and organize as you go. To where, 6 months after VBS, you're not still looking at stuff. And I get sometimes on Sunday, I'm done. I'm ready to go home and eat and take off my heels. That lesson stuff, then make a commitment to put it away on Monday. Tidy and organize as you go. That way, when you need to find something, you can find it. You can go and inventory. You can see, here's all where my tablecloths are. Oh, I'm out of this color. Need to order more. Trust me, you will thank yourself for trying to keep tidy and organized so that you can find out what you have. And then lastly, to help avoid these stressful seasons, prioritize and know that it's okay to say no. What in your work week needs to be prioritized? What in your life needs to be prioritized? So I come back to this. I think summer is just a stressful season. There's a lot in ministry. Now I'm speaking to my parents here, especially parents with kids still in the house. They're your first ministry. And I want you to ask yourself about summer thus far. We're about a month into summer if you're listening to this when it aired. Do you feel like you've spent some time with your kids so far this summer? Or are you kind of looking up and seeing the calendar and go, oh, I've already lost so much time with my kids? Say no to stuff. Prioritize your family. Take the day trip. When you are planning in advance, you don't have this last minute scramble to where you're not at church at 10 o'clock prepping VBS stuff when you should be tucking your kids into bed and reading stories. Say no to extra things on your plate. Full transparency here. Hey boss, if you're listening, I think I might have made a decision. I'm facing a scheduling issue for next summer. And I think I need to say no to this thing because it would take me away from being mom. Potentially. There's a whole, I don't know the dates, but it's a conference that could be great for our ministry. But it might be the same time that my daughter's ballet recital is. And you know which one I need to be at? Ballet recital. So I know what I need to say no to. Put this in your things. What do you need to say no to? To where you are okay, you're spending time in the Word, you're prioritizing your health. And what do you need to say no to where you're discipling first? You're a spouse and a parent. Maybe you're still a child, with your parents. Your first ministry is to your family. Make sure that you are not so unhealthy in your habits that you're neglecting your family. Hey, I would love to hear, where are your struggles? Where's your unhealthy seasons? What habits are you trying to break? For me, one that was evident this summer is I really need to try to strengthen my hip and my leg before camp. I walked, lots of hills and miles a day, and I'm lugging chairs and tables multiple times a day. And my hip at almost 40, and next summer I'll be 40 at camp, was not okay. So I need to put a plan in motion to where I'm going to be okay physically, because I wasn't okay physically at camp. I was sleeping on a heating pad safely, it had a timer. But I physically was in pain, which then led to my body saying, we are stressed out. This was too much. You need a rest, and vertigo is the only way you're going to rest. And I didn't rest well during vertigo. So then my body's like, have a germ. What do you need to change to where you're not living a habitual, stressed Kidmin ministry life, but that you're thriving? And remember, Kidmin leaders, what you do matters.